And we have said about the trial procedure, part 2, pre-trial proceedings, part 3, prosecution story and defense case. We have stated about learned chief prosecutor's submission on charge, learned state defense counsel's submission on charge, thereupon decision on charge, and then we have given the description of evidences in part 4. In part 4, we have also given an account of the testimonies of the prosecution witnesses. In part 5, we have given the illustration of the evidences, that is the discussion of the evidences. Used arms and ammunitions. We have given an account of the used arms and ammunitions. We have given a description. We have discussed about the telephonic conversations of accused Sheikh Hasina with a number of persons from time to time. We have discussed and extracted the reports of daily newspapers concerning the issues of this case, reports of United Nations Human Rights Commission, reports of Odhikar, another Human Rights Commission, reports of Human Rights Watch, and Globe Institute, and so on. We have discussed about the videos of the occurrences which have been displayed in the tribunal. And we have described the extent of cruelty administered upon the victims who have died and who have been seriously injured and lost their vital organs of the body. And we have talked about seized alamots. We have given account of the murders, number of murders, in accordance with the Gazette notifications published by our government and in accordance with the reports of United Nations Human Rights Commission and other organizations. In this context, I want to say that the exact report of martyrs or the victims or the sufferers or the injured persons or those whose whereabouts could not be traced, this is quite natural. You will understand that since our liberation war in 1971, still we could not finalize the list of martyrs, the list of freedom fighters, list of the war criminals, and others. So there are lists, but it varies. So it's a timely matter. It may vary. Somewhere you'll find the figure 800, somewhere 1000, somewhere 1400. So substantial amount of the protesters have been killed. This is the fact. We have described the police messages and directions, first from the high-ups to the downwards for doing the needful to control the protesters, curfew orders. And then in part 6, we have given an account of the learned chief prosecutor's arguments, the points of arguments, 49 points of arguments have been described. We have also described the 49 points of arguments raised by the learned State Defense Council. Thereafter, we have given an account of our observations and inference. And finally, we passed the order. So this is all about the judgment. Now we will read out the very pertinent portions of the judgment, one by one. At first, our learned member Fu, he will read out a portion of the judgment commencing from origin and object of the tribunal, jurisdiction of the tribunal. He will read out Article 7 of Rome Statute, elements of crime against humanity, elements of superior command status responsibility, and then the charges. Therefore, learned member 1, he will read out some portions from the discussion of the evidences, the report of the United Nations Human Rights Commission, and then the extent of cruelty administered upon the victims, and thereafter the points of arguments submitted by the learned prosecutor and the learned state defense counsel. And finally, I will read out the conclusion and the order. So it will take about 40 minutes. We hope that you will be listening to the deliberations. Thank you very much. Now, the turn of our learned member who is reading out, as I have mentioned.
Origin and object of the tribunal. The International Crimes Tribunal has been established under the International Crimes Tribunal Act 1973 to provide for the detention, prosecution, and punishment of the persons for genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and other crimes under international law committed within or beyond the territory of Bangladesh, whether before or after commencement of the Act. Jurisdiction of the Tribunal. The Tribunal has got the jurisdiction to try the offences enshrined in Section 3 and 4 of the International Crimes Tribunal Act 1973. Section 3 provides, the tribunal shall have the power to try and punish any individual or group or individuals, organization, or any member of any disciplined force, auxiliary force, or intelligence agency who, irrespective of his nationality, commits or has committed within or beyond the territory of Bangladesh, whether before or after the commencement of this act, any of the crimes mentioned in its subsection 2. According to subsection 2 of section 3, the following acts or any of them is crime within the jurisdiction of a tribunal for which there shall be individual responsibility. The Constitution of Bangladesh have given upper hand in Article 47, subarticle 3 thereof to the application of the provisions of International Crimes Tribunals Act 1973 in the following manner. Notwithstanding anything contained in this Constitution, no law nor any provision thereof providing for detention, prosecution, or punishment of any persons who is a member of any armed or defense or auxiliary forces, or any individual group of individuals or organization, or who is a prisoner of war for genocide, crimes against humanity, or war crimes and other crimes and crimes under international law, shall be deemed void or unlawful, or ever to have become void or unlawful on the ground that such law or provisions of any such law is inconsistent with or repugnant to any of the provisions of the constitutions. Crime against humanity, namely murder, extermination, enslavement, deportation, imprisonment, abduction, confinement, torture, rape, sexual exploitation, enforced disappearance, human trafficking, sexual slavery, enforced prostitution, forced pregnancy, enforced sterilization, or other inhuman acts, when committed as part of a widespread or systematic attack direct against any civilian population with knowledge of the attack or